Hey everybody, welcome back. Tonight is the 13th of April 2021. My name is Shane Mata, and tonight we're going to talk about a little bit about Bitcoin and the Crypto.com or the Crypto.org token, the CRO. So before we get into that, I just want to make note that the staking at the Crypto.org website, the Explorer, is showing that we are at 2.315 billion tokens staked in DeFi wallets, so that they're earning the 20-some percent. Hold on, let me pull out the phone here and see what the interest rate is right now. We are currently at 22.97. So in my last recording, I had mentioned that I had calculated that we would see the 20% interest rate that Crypto.com had mentioned wouldn't come about until we hit about 2.5 billion tokens staked in DeFi wallets. And it's looking like it's heading that way. So, like I said, right now it's 2.193, so it's about 22% PA. That's per annum. And that is at 2.31 billion tokens staked, or 2.315 billion tokens staked. So I think once we reach 2.5, that's when we'll hit the 20% interest rate. And if people continue to stake after that and build up, then I'm pretty certain that what's going to end up happening is the interest rate is going to drop below 20%. And so we might start losing people at that point where, they're going to try to find a better interest rate somewhere else. But I think the majority are going to stick around until about 16 to 12%. But however you look at it, it's still pretty good interest rate at 12 or 16% or whatever. But we'll see what happens once we cross that line, once we pass the 2.5 billion stake line. So, so last night or today, exciting news. Bitcoin finally broke out of the consolidation phase. We've been in consolidation for almost a month, 30-some days, I think was what I heard. Which means if you're new to trading and all that, consolidation is when the asset is trading sideways. So it'll go up and down, but it'll go up and down within a range. And we've been doing that for almost a little bit over a month, which is very frustrating if you're expecting, for Bitcoin to make up its mind if it's going to go up or go down. It'll go up a little bit, come back down, and go up a little bit and go back down. And so it's been doing that. So traders, that's probably one of the more frustrating things to see, especially for me when I was doing the core number compounding, which is something I've mentioned on the Leo Finance. So with core number compounding, you're scalping the whatever gains. You have a certain amount of whatever crypto that you have, either Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum or whatever. And whenever it goes over by about 1%, 2%, you cash it out and leave it back, put it back to where you had your level. And if it goes down by 4%, then you buy back in. So you're continuously buying low and selling high, no matter what happens in the market. So that can be frustrating if the market is just going sideways because there's really no up or down movement, significantly at least. But I haven't been doing that for a while. I've decided, once it started going sideways like that, I decided, I'm going to put all my tokens in CRO and start accumulating and start working towards the IC white card. So that's where most of my assets are right now, is tied up in CRO with the goal of reaching the IC white debit card from Crypto.com. So the Bitcoin did break I think it was $63,000. I think that was the all-time high, and so it's been trading at that range. I think as of this recording, we have let's see. Yeah, Bitcoin is at 63,653 and CRO is at 22 cents, 22 and a half cents. So not too bad. We went up about 7%. So finally, we're starting to see some action. Typically, CRO is very not completely tied to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, CRO tends to go up. If Bitcoin goes down, CRO tends to go down. But every once in a while, CRO kind of acts independently and will go up by itself. So that's the expectation that we have. If not, then at least we can expect that Bitcoin will drag CRO up along with it. So the target that a lot of people are online are looking for is about $1 a token. I don't know that we'll reach that this year. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not against it. It's just that I would rather be, I guess, a bit more conservative in my estimates and be surprised that it went up higher than have too high of an estimate and then be disappointed that we didn't reach the goal. So if I am going to be staking for the, what is that called, the IC White card, then I would need to have a value of about $40,000, well, exactly $40,000 to be able to stake for that card, which means that I need to build my tokens up to about 40,000 tokens. I'm not there, not quite yet. I'm almost there, and then wait for the value to go up to $1. If that happens, then it makes the whole thing easier for me. And for a lot of people, I suppose, if you're holding a lot of CRO, then it's your best bet as far as getting or upgrading your card. Now, some people have problems locking up their tokens for 6 months. In my case, I'm not that much of a trader, so I don't have a problem keeping it locked up for that long, especially when at that level you're earning roughly about $90 a week in interest from that. So it's not a bad deal in my estimation. That pays for groceries and stuff like that, so that's not bad. But we'll worry about that when we get there. For now, we're still at 22.5 cents, and looking like it's going to be going a little bit higher. So I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and there's a lot of people making their best guess as to what the price of the CRO token will be in the future. And it's very rare to have somebody tell you it's going to be this price and here's the reason. And some of the people with technical analysis they'll do the TA and they can give you a range. Others are just kind of pulling numbers out of the thin air and just saying, hey, it's going to be, it's going to be $1, it's going to be $5, and we can expect it to be $10. And that's a bit too optimistic for my blood. It's hard for me to take it seriously when they're just kind of, because of what they think, their opinions, that it's going to be that without something to back it up. But in any case, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to be patient, and once it's locked up, I have no choice but to be patient, right? Well, the other thing that I'm thinking about is what I had mentioned in the previous recording was that the USDC transaction that Crypto.com and Visa did to do the settlement of a payment was a proof of concept. And in the most recent AMA with Crypto.com's CEO Chris Marszalek, he did mention that it was a kind of a proof of concept, and that eventually that they're going to be moving those transactions on the Crypto.org blockchain, basically using the CRO version of the USDC token. And then that way they would be saving on the transaction fees that currently are in Ethereum. So that is significant news, because if you're using the CRO token to process payments for the Visa network, that is a big deal. That means that there's going to be traffic, actual business traffic, on the CRO.org or the Crypto.com. Oh, hold on. There's too many names here. Crypto.com is the company. Crypto.org is the blockchain organization, and of course the CRO is the token. So there's going to be a lot of traffic on the CRO network that is actual legitimate business traffic, on top of any of the crypto pay traffic and the other whatever else is added onto the network. So this last AMA, Chris Marszalek did clear that information, and made it known that is the end goal, is to have USDC running on the CRO network. So for me, that's good news, and positive news for the CRO token to go up. By how much, I'm not going to guess, because I'd be doing the same thing as those videos that frustrate me. But we're thinking long term, right? We're thinking, I don't think Crypto.com is going to be disappearing in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5. I think they're here for the long haul. And so I'm looking at that timeline, maybe 5-10 years. 5-10 years, I could see $1 easily. Unless they do some bonehead maneuver like they've done in the past, I can see them for sure at least hitting $1, maybe more. And but again, we will just wait until that happens, and we'll be happy when that does. But in the meantime, I'm not going to speculate on that. So that's I think that's the gist I wanted to say tonight, is that things are looking positive for us, and as long as Bitcoin continues to go up, I think we can expect that CRO is going to go up along with it. It'll be dragged along. I do notice that sometimes when Bitcoin is hot, that CRO tends to go up a couple percentage points more than what Bitcoin does. And I'm not sure why that is. It's probably because there's more trading going on in the Crypto.com exchange, and some of that translates into more use of the tokens. So hopefully that continues, and as Bitcoin continues to go up, that we may see some pretty good gains on the CRO token. Now, how far will Bitcoin go up? That's a tough one. I think in this go around, people are expecting it's going to be up in the $80,000 range. But I've been watching a lot of videos, especially with Raoul Pal, and there is some talk that what is that called? I forgot, the stock to flow model may have understated the gains that we can expect Bitcoin to have. And the idea is that since we are very bad at thinking exponentially, that we tend to be very conservative in our estimates. And so we think that by the end of 2021, that Bitcoin may be at around $150,000 to $250,000 per Bitcoin. But that what's his name? The guy that does stock to flow, Plan B, and Raoul Pal are starting to think that perhaps they're underestimating, and that we may go much higher than that. And I watched the video last night, and I forget why exactly was it what their reasoning was, but it had to do with what did it have to do with? I'll have to look that up, because I didn't write down notes on it. But just be aware of that there is some thinking going on amongst people who do this for a living, who look at regression analysis and all these other types of analysis that you do on transaction data to try to figure out where the asset's going to go. And so they're starting to think that they were mistaken, and that Bitcoin may go way above the $280,000 per token by the end of 2021. High end, they're looking at about $1 million a token, which was supposed to be where Bitcoin is supposed to be in 4 years from now, and the next halving. So that would be crazy, because anybody who's holding Bitcoin is going to be making out like a bandit. Speaking of, some of this came about by people talking about how we're expecting people to start cashing out at around $150,000, $180,000 a Bitcoin, and because they're going to be selling out, that's going to stimulate more people to jump in and start buying, buying it up, because as it gets more and more scarce, you're going to want to take advantage of whatever price is available. So, or something like that. I'll watch the video again, and I'll come back and give you the the rundown of it. But I just wanted to mention these couple things that were on my mind at the moment. And so we're going to keep an eye on the CRO token. And that's really where my focus is right now, is CRO and Bitcoin, because those are my two largest holdings. I do have holdings in other cryptos. Principally, I have a holding in the Hive token, which has seen a significant jump this year. It went from about 20 cents up to I think close to $1 at some point, and right now it's trading at around 68, 67 cents, something like that. It's been varying a lot. It'll go up to about 80 some cents and drop down to the 50s, and so it's up and down. And the other one that I have is the Leo Finance token, the Leo token. That's also part of Hive. It's a layer 2 token on Hive, and that's a pretty significant. These were accidental. Well, I guess all of it is accidental. I accidentally wound up with a bunch of Bitcoin. I accidentally wound up with a lot of Hive, and another accidental one is the Minds token. So if you go to minds.com, they also have tokens, and way back a year, maybe 2 years ago, I bought about 900 of those, and they were like, I don't know, 0.002 per token or something like that. So I bought a bunch of them just to play around and to advertise, to boost my posts. And what wound up happening is that it's jumped up this year to about $3 a token, just out of nowhere. They started tinkering with their tokenomics, and they burned a bunch of tokens, and they just jumped up to $3 a token. So I'm doing pretty good there, again, by accident. So that's why I don't want to give you like hard numbers of what my estimates are, is because these things are they have a mind of their own, and you just kind of have to use stuff that you think that is useful for you in your life, and then somehow that's the way I've been doing it. Hive is useful for me because of the blogging, and Minds was useful for me because of the social media aspect. The Leo token was just a byproduct of being on the Leo Finance website, which is still Hive, but it focuses more on finance and crypto and money and stuff like that. So I accumulated that, and it this year it's also gone up tremendously. Bitcoin, I started in March last year, right after the what's it called, the market crash. So I bought some Bitcoin, but principally, the reason I wound up with a bunch of it was because that's when Crypto.com decided to get rid of the MCO token. So I cashed out all the MCO since I had to sell it anyways, and I dumped that into Bitcoin, and that got me set up for a big rise. And so that's how I wound up owning a fair amount. I don't own a Bitcoin yet. I mean, that's still a bit out of my range, but I was getting close to about half a Bitcoin, except that I had to sell because I have some financial things I have to take care of. I did take out some loans, but I needed the money quick. So the best option at that point was to transfer it and sell some Bitcoin. So I'm down to about 0.3 something or other. 0.3, yeah, about 0.3. But I mean, I'm going to start accumulating again, and if things go well with the CRO token, I may build up my stake in Bitcoin again. So we'll have our fingers crossed. All right, so I think I'm going to call it a night here. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you again soon. This is Shane. Good night.